Hello, sir.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going. It's been.
How was your trip?
Oh, the trip was fantastic. Yeah, fantastic trip. Had a lot of fun. Uh, I haven't taken a proper vacation in 10 plus years. So,
Yeah, so speaking of, I should tell you that I'm supposed to be on vacation next week.
okay.
Um, Now I say supposed to. I expect to be I expect to be away and not able to log in to do this next Sunday.
Okay.
Um, I'm supposed to be gone from this Friday till the Friday after to the 29th for a week from the 22nd to the 29th.
Okay.
Now, of course, if somebody gets sick or something beforehand, then I'll be home and I'll be able to do it.
Yeah.
I Not that I have any reason to believe that, but a lot of people are getting sick these days. Uh, Before we leave, we're going to test ourselves. So if our vacation could be inadvertently ruined, but that's before it starts. But that's just me being pessimistic, not anything with actual facts behind it or anything.
Understood.
So the so I guess if I don't go, I'll let you know. But expect that I'll be gone next week. So
Can do.
that's what I wanted to say. As my like you, it'll be my first vacation in quite a while. Uh, so we're supposed to be going upstate to see my cousin who lives like an hour south of Niagara Falls. So we're going to go there. We're going to go to Niagara Falls.
Nice.
So we'll see. We'll see what what we get accomplished. But that's our trip. So
Was that you or was that me?
what?
The beep beep beep.
Oh, yeah. It was my house. Something in my house. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure it wasn't something in my house.
Yeah. No.
Because you didn't look concerned by it. So I was thinking, oh, maybe
No.
that was
The
just
front
maybe that was
the
just
front
here.
door beeps. No.
Understood.
The front door beeps when someone comes through it. So
Okay.
that's why.
Sounds good. Just want to
Um.
make sure. All right. What are we pilch pointing?
Okay. So I wanted to talk about how you can. First of all, we never did we ever do the talk about getting Windows for cheaper, or
I
did we
don't
not because we were on?
I
I don't
don't
think
think
so. But
so.
anyway, I wanted to talk about how to I did this week and combine it with getting Windows cheap,
Okay.
which is being able to install Windows with a local account and bypassing other how to get around the various Windows 11 restrictions and how to get Windows 11 or 10 for dirt cheap.
Okay.
Get your Windows cheap and take control of that cheap Windows.
Okay. Sounds good. Um did you see the other four?
Yes, I did.
Excellent. All right. Oh, if I'm
Not talking about Elon Musk and Twitter again.
so tired of that. It's
Yeah,
because it's exactly what we said was going to happen.
yeah, he got bored. I
Yeah,
knew it. I
exactly.
knew he got bored of it, and now it's over. What do you expect?
Whatever. If
Yeah.
I'm if I get weird during the show, I apologize in advance. We just did a con all weekend, and you know my brain's a little off. However, I did
Understood.
remember to go in and dump some old recordings,
I
so that's
see.
good. So I keep forgetting to do that, and then sometimes in the middle of the show it goes, you don't have enough room to record this show. All right, that's all
Well, if we
fixed.
were talking last week, I would be talking about if we were talking. Actually, hold on a second. I have a
Okay,
little show and tell.
okay. those of you watching live, I apologize for that noise. That was horrifying.
As Maya's not playing with them at the moment, I'll show you some toys. I can show folks some toys I made her. Anyway,
Okay,
I 3D
excellent.
printed her.
Very cool.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
All right. But if you are good,
Yes.
this poor laptop might be on the end of its run. Okay. So we're just going to do that. That's fine. Oh, see, I mentioned recording and then I didn't actually do it. See, this is where I am tonight. Just a warning. All right. This week, PlayStation stars are definitely not NFTs. Celsius is almost certainly a Ponzi scheme. And Microsoft might just buy Netflix. It's Sunday, July 17th, 2022, and this is episode 626 of F5 Live, Refreshing Technology, a proud part of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Wherever you are and however you're accessing our show, whether it be on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or Snapchat, through a podcatcher like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, TuneIn, or a myriad of other options, or through one of our live stream platforms, livestream.com, Twitch, or YouTube, where, of course, you can join the community and get ad-free versions of F5 Live and Piltch Point, or on our website, PLUGHITZlive.com. Thank you for making us a part of your day. There are two ways that you can do that. The first is Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. You can go to f5live.tv/join us. There you can chat with us during the show and give us your feedback on the topics as we talk about them. If you're unable to do that, that is okay. You can always go to PLUGHITZlive.com/subscribe, and there you'll see all of our shows, including F5 Live, Piltch Point, PLUGHITZ Live Presents, and a whole lot more. And of course, you'll find all the ways to watch, listen, and follow along. Well, Avram, we're back. We took a couple of weeks off, but it's good to be back.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to be back. So glad to be back on the show with you. I hope you had a great time off. I'm likely to have a time off next week, so I'm expecting to have a time off next week, I should say. So, you know, it's good to get away because I had a really long time on. This past week, it was Prime Day, and I had to do stay up late and do a lot of work around that. But you know, it's always cool to be doing new stuff. One of the things that I did in Prime Day is I bought a lot of 3D filament, and
I was going to ask you.
And I bought a dryer box, which is this thing back here. I don't know if you can see this white box. And what that is, if your 3D printing filament has been sitting around a while, it might not print as well because it absorbed moisture. So you put it in the 3D printing dry box, which is a heater, and you heat it for like 6 hours before you use it. And supposedly it cleans up it gets the moisture out. And I had one roll that I was using that I was about ready to throw out because there was only like some of it left, and it kept cracking in the printer. But then I bought this dryer thing and I tried it, and now I'm just trying to use up this printer roll. So I printed a few things today that are kind of wild. So this one is I'm going to give to my coworker Cherie, who you know, she's a big fan of The Witcher.
Nice.
So this is I don't exactly know what this stands for in The Witcher because I don't watch the show or play the game, but this is like some symbol in The Witcher.
Great. For those of you who are watching live, please tell us in the chat room if you know what that symbol is for.
So, and I'll ask folks if they, now I know what this symbol is for, but I want to know if anybody else does. This is not for Sheree. This is for my daughter, who's 3. And does anybody recognize this symbol? It is a paw print from Blue's Clues. So also from Blue's Clues, the mailbox where they get their mail.
Wonderful.
But the coolest thing that I printed, apparently there are a bunch of things you can print called flexi models, where they print like segments, and the segments are like printed together so it moves. So I printed her this dinosaur, and
that is cool.
It moves.
That's really cool. Those types of things are the things that I like the most.
Now, what's interesting is this one does not snap together. It printed like this.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to like pop it together. It came off the printer together like this. So
we had somebody on a PLUGHITZ Live Presents episode. Oh, I don't know. Pinellas Comic Con, maybe, from a number of years ago. I think it was Mo Epley or one of her people brought us a 3D printed wrench that was printed as one piece and was fully functional. So yeah, I love those things that print as one piece and are movable. Those are cool.
Yeah. I haven't experienced much of that. Things like that and things that snap together don't. If they don't print perfectly, don't always snap together because the little nodule or whatever doesn't quite connect. So yeah, I was thinking, oh man, this may not work. Then after this worked, I found a whole bunch of other things on Thingiverse, which is where you download this stuff, that were flexi prints. So my daughter wanted a flexi cat. So I'm printing her a flexi cat and then maybe a flexi unicorn. And then when I've used up this kind of goldish filament, which I really don't like that much, I can switch to something else, and we can print the Flexi Godzilla, which is flat like this, but then it has snap-on arms and legs that go on the side. So
got it.
So we'll see. You can see this is all very practical.
Absolutely, 100%.
Extremely practical. Great use cases for all of this stuff. But I mean, some of it is. I mean, some depending on the type of filament you get, the type of things you do, but certainly not as clean as injection molded stuff.
Sure.
By any stretch, but
sure.
Fun.
So is the dryer your favorite thing that you got for Prime Day?
Okay, so I got the dryer, and I got like 4 different colors of filament. This is actually not one of this one I had before. I got one that is a very silver color that I haven't opened up yet, that supposedly in the pictures look like metal, even though it's not metal. I got one that was a bright green silk color, which is, you can see behind me. Because my son wanted that. I got one that is like a reddish orange, and maybe that's all I got. Oh, and then I ordered and then I really wanted keycaps, new sets of keycaps for my keyboard.
No kidding. You? No.
But here's the interesting thing. The deal was, I was better off not buying them on Amazon. So, like, I saw some keycaps I kind of liked, and they were on sale on Amazon. But then I looked on AliExpress, and they were like $10 cheaper if I had them ordered from China, shipped from China, and wait a couple of weeks for them to come. So Amazon inspired me to spend my money elsewhere. But so I can't say if those are my favorite yet because I haven't received them. But so yeah, for me it was mostly what I was most interested in with filaments and keycaps, and maybe I would have considered getting like a USB cable if I needed one or something like that. Obviously, there were some great deals out there for folks who were shopping for major components. There were great deals on CPUs. and great deals on SSDs, and even a really strong deal on an RTX 3080 card. So
I saw that.
So yes, so there's all of that stuff, but the I personally didn't need any of that stuff, so I didn't buy any. But for folks who did, it was a good deal.
Yeah. I ended up making an impromptu purchase. I have a Roomba i7 coming tomorrow, which is like the big boy, the one that's usually $1,000. That was less than 50%. So I've been looking at one of the Roombas or some of its competitors, and I was like, you know what? 50% off? You sold me. I got one of the smaller ones for my parents for their anniversary, I think. And they're just absolutely loving it. So I was like, all right, time to do it. And I think the i7 is one of the ones that has an API that you can program to. So that's going to be a ton of fun. That's
Great.
That's my my big exciting purchase. I'm looking forward to that arriving hopefully tomorrow. So let us know if you picked up anything interesting during Prime Day. Let us know what it was, because we're always curious what things actually connect for people. So definitely let us know if you're watching live. Put it in the chat. If you're not, you can always get us on social or on YouTube or whatever. Just let us know. I'll tell you, Alante purchased a Nerf gun.
That sounds like fun.
I came back from the trip, and on his desk I'm on the phone with somebody, and I notice on his desk is a package of Nerf darts. Not Nerf branded, but you know what I mean. And on the phone, I said, I'm sorry, I have to pause because there are Nerf darts on Alante's desk, and I'm going to need to investigate. And so I went looking around, and I found, it's a big... I can't wait to see this thing in action. We've just been busy since I got back, but I can't wait to see this thing in action. And I'll tell you, the reason we've been busy is, if you're watching, is hanging here back on the wall. I put it there for easy access. This weekend was Metrocon 2022. And of course, there with the 3000 Brigade, Aaron and Kayla were both guests this year, which was wonderful. We did a bunch of panels together, and an exhausting but fun weekend, as it always is. Thanks to Alex and his team for once again inviting us to come out and put some content on. It's always a fun event. Exhausting, but a fun event. So thank you, Alex, and the rest of the team for having us out. But I think with that, we should probably get down to some news. What do you think?
Yeah.
This week's Nifty Gifties and F5 Live is proudly powered by the Microsoft Store. Whether you're looking for a new laptop, a tablet, an Xbox, games, or a whole lot more, you can get them at the Microsoft Store. And remember that current students, faculty, parents, and active military can save up to 10% off almost everything. To browse the products and learn more about the discounts and any other promos that are going on, you can go to f5live.tv/Microsoft. And our regulars may notice that promo changed a little bit, and that's because getting an Xbox is not the terrible experience that it used to be. You can actually find them, so you don't have to desperately seek one. You can sometimes just go and find one. Anyway, that's not what we're going to talk about. Let's talk about Windows. And we're going to talk about Windows a lot because Avram's going to talk about it a little bit in the Piltch point as well. But let's start by talking about the development cycle. Now, when Windows 10 was first announced, Microsoft made an interesting comment that Windows 10 would be the last version of Windows. And what they meant was that they were going to go to a more service-style architecture that, we all know with Windows 10, and then biannual releases of feature updates, often marked as 21H1, 21H2, as the two big feature updates. They were naming them for a while, and they stopped doing that because that's too many names. And the creators update, all of the things that was intended for creators ended up getting rolled back later anyway. So they stopped naming them, and they just went to the 21H1, 21H2 names mostly. But things changed. We all know that Windows 11 is out. It's running our control room computer here. And so Windows 10, not quite the last version of Windows. And when this happened, there was talk that there would be...
Could you say that again?
I apologize. Something's happening. Don't you hate it when things just start talking? That they would go to an annual major release cycle and a mid-cycle feature. I don't think anybody actually believed that that's what was going to happen. Now what we're hearing is that it looks like they're going to mostly go back to what was... oh, excuse me. What was the old release cycle of a new major version about every 3 years, and then way quicker feature releases that are less significantly impactful. Because I know Tom's Hardware has written about it. Your sister site, Tom's Guide, has written about it. Maybe Laptop Mag. 21H1, 21H2, those things caused problems for people installing them because they were doing a lot of stuff under the hood. And so people would install them, and all of a sudden big things wouldn't work. IT departments and big companies were almost entirely skipping them, or in my case, for my day job, my computer is a full year behind on feature releases because they've got to go through all these tests to make sure it's not going to ruin the computer. So those feature releases are going to be smaller, possibly as many as 4 a year, but less under the hood impactful. That stuff will happen in major releases. So that's an interesting move. It's definitely not the Windows 10 is the last version, and it's not the crazy idea of annual major releases, which is obviously a stupid move as well, because that just asks for trouble. The 3-year cycle worked in the past. It seems like they want to give that one a shot again. What do you think, Avram?
So does that mean Windows 12 will be coming out, or whatever they choose to call it, will be coming out in about 2.5 years?
Yes, that would be the current kind of reasonable belief. Is that
right.
Is Windows 12 would come out in 2024.
I mean, it's about how often, trying to think, it's like major blockbuster releases, and then you wait for the sequel. It's usually like 3 years.
Yeah.
At least. Right?
Yep.
I mean, now it's hard to say because with Marvel movies, you've got other Marvel movies, but if
Right.
you want a sequel to that Marvel movie, it's going to be at least 3 years. So
yeah, you finish this one, and by Tuesday, the next thing is out.
But you go see. You go see Avengers Endgame. Avengers. That would. If you're waiting for, Doctor Strange 3 or something,
Right.
you can plan on installing, or maybe Spider-Man, or maybe the next Spider-Man.
Something home.
Yes, you can be sure that at that time you'll be able to install Windows 12.
that is what it looks like.
So anyway, I mean, I am skeptical though about this business about not a lot changing under the hood, and therefore IT departments will let it through or something,
Oh,
because
I don't necessarily know that that's the reality of it, and I don't even know that that's necessarily their reasoning on it.
right.
Um, it's just it's one of the things that's in the air. I don't know that that has anything to do with it. I think they just want to get feature releases out more frequently.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest though, I have not been impressed with like any features that have been added to Windows 11 or any features. I mean, what's been added to Windows 11 since it came out that I mean, there's all these little things like, oh yeah, we changed the look of this settings menu or something. You know, now you
Possi-
can. Was it now?
possibly tabbed file explorer, though I don't know if that's a public feature yet.
I mean, there it was in various insider builds. That
Right.
what might have actually had some usefulness. The Android emulator is not public yet, and that's been. I think it got moved to like the beta channel or something, but it's in Windows Insider, but it's still not a public release.
No, I thought it
Like a
was.
release, is it?
I
I
thought it
thought I
was.
thought it was like a release candidate or something now, but not a final.
That's possible, but I think anybody can install it from the store.
Oh, well. Anyway, there's
But
been.
yeah,
I'm
tabbed
not. I'm not
the ta-
impressed with it anyway.
the tabbed file explorer is not on this computer, which is unstable. So,
I by the way have the dev channel on my laptop, and I have not gotten the tab file explorer.
oh
So
really? I've got it out
yeah,
in mission control.
interesting.
I
I
noticed it
mean,
yesterday.
that might be of some use. I mean, I feel like some of their features might be just bringing back things that they took away, which
There's some of
are
that.
which is a really lame philosophy. Like, maybe they'll fix it so that you can put the taskbar somewhere other than the bottom, and they'll treat it like an innovation when you could do that on prior versions of Windows, right? The
Oh,
so
I almost spit out my drink. Thank you.
right. I mean, now you can drag and drop to the taskbar, right? Which you couldn't before.
Right.
When Windows 11 first came out. I mean, like features that should have always been there, adding them back, or then
Yeah.
making really minor changes to like the UI of the settings menu and things like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I have yet to see.
The volume
Uh,
screen. Little
I
things like that.
Lovely. I have yet to see Microsoft do something. It's been a long time, even going back to Windows 10, since I've seen Microsoft do something that was an actual significant improvement. Um,
Yeah.
in Windows. I mean, they bring in all these sort of like really low end tools, like Paint 3D or something, where like there's been free 3D software that's better than Paint 3D for quite a while.
Yeah.
So they're not. I don't know. I mean, I actually do like
Call
the.
back to the creators update.
Yes, exactly. That's why I was thinking of it. I actually do kind of like the little weather widget
Mm-hmm.
that that initiated in Windows 10, and now you also get it in Windows 11.
Yeah.
I do like having the weather on my taskbar, although it's kind of a shameless promotion to get you to do Bing stuff. So to get you to like go to their personalized stuff and it which is all part of Bing. So I don't know. I mean, great. Uh, I mean, I'd like to see some actual innovation in Windows. I know
Yeah.
that they're very conservative because when they did stuff like with Windows 8, it was a disaster,
Yeah.
taking away the thing that people liked about Windows, which is the Windows. But I feel like they could absolutely do more innovation rather than just changing. They're just changing the paint and the wallpaper to
Right.
say like, look, we have a new Windows because now the start menu looks different, and we want you to really know that the start menu is different, so you can't change it back to the way it was
You can't do anything
unless
about
you get a
it.
third party app.
Right.
You know, so that's great, but the design is not actually the
Better.
usability is not leading the use. They're not doing anything to improve usability of the operating system. All they're doing is just changing things to change them. So, I mean, I'm not impressed. I like to see Microsoft actually. I don't know what it is that they could do. Maybe do more with handwriting recognition in the OS. That would be good. Nice. Maybe do more under the hood to improve performance. I mean, I don't know, but so far I haven't really seen a lot going on in Windows that seems like an innovation. Like you really, if you installed Windows 10 like 4 years ago and you look at Windows now, Windows 11 now, would you really see anything that was a notable improvement?
Right. I mean, I like the widget pop-up. Personally, I'm looking forward to the developer access to it. I think that's a great, like a great middle ground for the loss of live tiles. But yeah, generally, I don't know what I don't know what suggestions to make because that's not my job, right? My job is not to figure out where they're failing and what they should be doing. I just know that they are. There's, like you said, it's kind of been stale for a while. There's not been any major move forward. I'd like to see something.
Yep.
But who knows? Maybe this idea of pushing the major build release cycle out so that one team can be working on feature stuff while somebody else is working on the big under the hood stuff. Okay, I mean, there's a possibility that we could see something of value come from that. Maybe, I don't know. Fingers crossed. At this point, that's all we can do is hope. And again, this is mostly based on internal rumors. This may not even be the case either because they have not officially announced this strategy. So,
if they did, they would be bound by it, right? So,
true.
Let's say they decide that they can't come out with Windows 12 until 2025 instead of 2024. Right. Now they don't have there won't be reports in the press that, hey, they missed their deadline.
Right, exactly. So, who knows? All of this is conjecture. It's probably, I mean, it seems likely. I don't know that they're going to hit quarterly feature releases, but it'll definitely be interesting to see how they handle all this. This week's Piltch Point with Avram Piltch is proudly powered by PureVPN. The best way to protect your privacy online is with PureVPN. You can hide your online activities, say goodbye to regional restrictions, and improve your streaming quality. Plus, it's available for almost all of your devices. You can get a special price and a 31-day money-back guarantee right now by going to piltchpoint.live/PureVPN. All right, we were just talking about Windows and the future of it, but now we're going to talk about the current state of Windows and how to deal with some of its more unique features.
Yeah, so first of all, let's talk briefly about how you get Windows today. Probably most people watching got Windows on the computer that they bought, and therefore if they're eligible for an upgrade from 10 to 11, that's how they're going to get the next version of Windows. But if you build PCs, as I do, then you might have to figure out how are you going to get Windows when you are starting with a pile of parts like a motherboard, a CPU, and a graphics card sitting in front of you on a desk. And Microsoft would like you to pay $129 to buy Windows, which is a ridiculous amount of money. I mean, you could be building a $500 PC, as we discussed on a recent Piltch Point, and if you had to spend $129 of it just on the operating system, that would just completely blow through your budget. And it's extremely unfair because companies like Dell and HP, we don't know exactly how much they're spending for a Windows license to put on your laptop, but it is way less than that. I mean, it's way less than $129. So what you can do is you got choices. For one, if you don't have Windows on, if you don't have an old copy of Windows that you can that is installable somewhere, you can, first of all, everyone can download Windows from Microsoft's website, from the ISO page on Microsoft's website. Anyone can download Windows, and using the media creation tool, create a bootable USB drive that they can then use to install it. And you could install Windows without using a product key, and you can use it indefinitely. The only penalties for not having a product key at this point are you may have a little message in the corner of the screen saying unactivated Windows, which will be, the watermark will stay on top of stuff, so it's annoying. And you won't be allowed to change your wallpaper, although there's tricks to get around that. But you could also buy a Windows product key, an OEM product key, on the resale market at a site such as Kinguin for between $18 and $30 for Windows Home, and maybe $35 for Pro. So that's how you can get Windows for cheap. Now, one thing I want to talk about also with Windows is getting around some of the hassles that exist in Windows 11, installing Windows 11. So I'm going to share my screen for a second because I've got a Windows installer on here. And what I'm showing here is this is a Windows 11 install process. And you can see that I'm on the first screen you get after you boot off of your install desk. And there's a few different things that could stop you right here from installing Windows 11. One, if your computer does not have a TPM 2.0 security. Two, if it does not have secure boot. And three, if it does not have, I think it's at least 4 gigabytes of RAM. Also, you need a dual core CPU, but that should be almost everybody these days. And you should probably have, I think you're supposed to have at least, 64 gigs of RAM? Not 64 gigs of RAM, I'm sorry, 64 gigs of free storage. So you can bypass a lot of these things by hitting Control F10 when you're at this install screen and going straight to edit the Windows registry, which you do by typing in regedit at the command prompt. Once you've opened the registry editor, you would go to HKey local machine system setup as your registry key. Then you would right click in here and select new and create a new registry key under setup. And you call it lab config with a capital L and a capital C. Inside this lab config key, this is where you can put registry values that will tell it to bypass certain checks. So you go and you create a new DWORD 32-bit value, and you name it bypass TPM check, and assign that to 1. You create a new key, call it bypass secure boot check, and that to 1. And you can also do one for the RAM, although probably should have at least enough RAM, but you can say bypass RAM check and make that one. And those will allow you to continue. So you just close the registry editor, close the command prompt, and now we're back installing. Now, there's something else I want to talk about, which is Windows 11 And actually, I think Windows 10. See, when you're asked for product key, you can actually skip that, like as I said before, and say I don't have a product key, and then you can just keep going with your install. And then later, if you want to put in a product key, because and actually, it usually doesn't bother you right away about not having a product key. It's only after a while it may bother you. Um, they may give you that unauthorized message or whatever watermark. Or, but anyway, after Windows is installed, in the middle of the install process, it's going to ask you for your Microsoft account. And that is annoying because what if you don't want to have a Microsoft account on the computer? What if you just want to have a local account? There's a few reasons why that you might not want your Microsoft account to be on the computer. One is, what if I am building this computer? What if I'm, selling this computer to someone? Or what if I'm building this computer to give away to charity, which is an experience I actually had 2 weeks ago. I was doing a charity build. I did not want to put in Avram's Microsoft account, then whoever it gets given away to as my information. No way. Nor am I going to make up a dummy Microsoft account for some theoretical person I don't know who's getting it. So much better to have a local account. So you'll see that after this gets through this quick part here, this quick part of the installation here, it's going to reboot. And what you want to do is you want to, when you get to the screen where it asks you for a Microsoft account, you will cut off internet to that machine. Not before then. At that point, you will cut off internet to the machine, and then there is a back arrow. You'll hit the back arrow, and once you do that, it'll allow you to create a local account instead because you don't have internet. Now, the easiest way to cut off internet access is if you go to the command prompt by hitting Shift F10 again and type in ipconfig/release. But if you had a computer that had, a Wi-Fi dongle, you could just yank it out at that point if you wanted to, or whatever. But one thing that is a little bit interesting is the newest versions of Windows the newest builds of Windows may get wise to that trick. So there are other ways around it. So let's see, I'm rebooting you might ask how I'm managing to do this while I'm still on the call with you, and that's because I'm using a virtual machine, which allows me to kind of simulate installing Windows in a window on my regular computer. So one thing that you can do is you can use a program called Rufus to create your boot disk, and Rufus now has the option to fix it so that you can still use the unplug internet trick. Another thing that apparently still works is if you, as your Microsoft account username or email address, you use the address no@thankyou.com and then enter any password, and it will confuse the computer and give you local login option. So that's how you would get to a local login in Windows 11. So there's. What do you think, Scott? Would you use a local login on your computers?
I have, under many circumstances, created a local login for a PC. Several of the examples that you have given have been scenarios for me, including building the PC for somebody else, things like that. So yeah, it's definitely something that I have done in the past when it was easier. But obviously, more recently, it has become more of a challenge, which is why you're telling us how to do it.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that's really frustrating too is that Microsoft is now taking that ability away from Windows 10 Pro. I don't know if you knew that, but up until this moment, yeah. So up until this moment, well, I should say, even now, the current release version of Windows 11 Pro will let you create a local account as part of the install process without using any tricks. As soon as what's the latest one's coming out, 22H2. As soon as 22H2 comes out, that ability is going to be taken away from Pro. So that's where you end up with the problems. So it's really lame. I also installed Windows 10 in a VM the other day, and Windows 10 did not. Windows 10 Home also, I had to use the same trick. It also didn't want me to install local accounts. So
Yep.
I won't make everybody sit here and watch. Wait, maybe we'll see, maybe we won't see. So so what you would do if you're watching is, once you've gotten to the part after you put in your keyboard, I believe this is going to be where they're going to ask you, well, it's going to check for updates, and then it's going to ask for your Microsoft login. And dun, dun, dun. And that's the point at which you've got to cut off internet or use no at thank you. So I won't let, and you don't want to cut off the internet before that, because I think you want it to get whatever the updates are before got to make sure you have the latest, as it says. Anyway.
Unless, of course, you're using an older version of the installer on purpose that that still lets you create a local account on Pro.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, I won't make everybody watch as this thing does it, but the point is, there are ways to get around it, and I have an article about how to get around the local account and how to get around the TPM restrictions on tomshardware.com. And we have an article, very important, on how to get Windows 11 for free or cheap.
Well, fantastic on that one, because, like you said, building a PC, if you're building a $500 PC, and you're doing that because that's your budget, having to throw $130 at it is a killer. That eliminates a third of your resources.
Right. It's a lot, and it's really, I just don't think it's called for in this day and age, because nobody builds a Mac, so I guess you can't compare exactly, but Apple doesn't charge for macOS. Nobody charges for Linux. So it's kind of, it's really unfair, and it's punitive to people who are building PCs, because Microsoft is perfectly happy to sell that same Windows license to OEMs for the same purpose for a lot less money. So it's kind of predatory pricing, because they know that you don't have the negotiating power that Dell does. So why don't you pay me $129? So it's a shame, because they're punishing people for building a PC when they should be happy that people are trying to be part of the ecosystem.
And that's an interesting point, because people want to be part of it, and Microsoft is basically saying, nah, it's okay. Go install Linux.
The problem is that gaming
Linux, right?
Yeah, the problem is that gaming on Linux is not there yet,
right?
Compared to Windows.
Unless, of course, you're ironically using the Xbox Game Pass, and you're streaming the games.
Yeah, it's tempting. Also, let's not forget that Microsoft is making good money off of you. You are the product, right? They're showing you all kinds of promotions and ads, and trying to get you to install all kinds, and preloading all kinds of bloatware. So, they really should just say, and I think that's why they're not being so stringent in enforcement of the product keys either.
Yeah, I can see that. I'll tell you, when I had to reinstall Windows here in Mission Control, for people who have been watching for a while, you may remember the night that we canceled the show like an hour before the show, just because the motherboard died. Um, we had to reinstall Windows, and when it reinstalled, it reinstalled all kinds of weird garbage, like Disney Plus. I don't need Disney Plus on this computer, and they didn't ask me about that.
They're making money on it.
Yeah.
Microsoft's making money on that. So, they shouldn't be charging you. They're making money off of it. Let's be real. And they should want you as part of their ecosystem, considering all the other things that Microsoft tries to sell you. So it's really lame. And now especially that you have to have an account with them too.
Yeah.
By the way, just because we've reached the moment of truth, here's the sign-in screen that you will see when you're installing. And if you hit Shift F10 and you do ipconfig/release, it'll cut the internet off of that machine. And then when you hit the back button, ta-da, who's going to use this device means it's a local account, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then you can just you don't even need to have a password. I mean, that's not recommended. You should have a password, but no password will boot straight to the desktop. Anyway, just for our demo purposes. But anyway, so yeah, that's how you do it.
Very nice. Well, I appreciate that because I've done this in the past, and I suspected it was the only way to do it, and I've normally done it with disconnecting an Ethernet cable when I've wanted a local account, not a Microsoft account. But it's nice to see that it still does exist, though it does concern me that it's going to be going away in Pro. Download those ISOs now, and remember, don't allow the update to happen until after you get your local account in there.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, as always, Avram, thank you for that, and I look forward to what we talk about next time. This week's Extra Life on F5 Live is proudly powered by Exa. Exa brings the latest technology to gamers, offering the most immersive products for the ultimate gaming experience, with headphones including ENC Tech, the latest in Bluetooth 5.0, 7.1 surround sound, plus extra features like dual mics and low latency. Everyone can enjoy a sensational gaming experience. They've got headsets for Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and PC. Plus, most importantly, they won't break the bank. Learn more about the headsets that are available and any current promotions by going to f5live.tv/Exa. This week, Sony announced a feature that most gamers would be okay with, if not uninterested in general, because it's not particularly new or exciting. They are calling it PlayStation Stars. Essentially, it is Nintendo points or Microsoft points for Microsoft rewards. Basically, you're going to get points and some other things for completing challenges, doing normal tasks, playing games, things like that. It works exactly the same as you would expect on Nintendo and Xbox. But Sony used two words that they probably shouldn't have used because of their connotations. And those two words were digital collectibles. Now, most people, especially in gaming, when they hear digital collectibles, immediately snap into NFTs. It's not the only thing that NFTs are, but it's certainly one of the things that we highly associate with NFTs, is the digital collectibles. So people started to worry that these PlayStation Stars might or might not themselves be NFTs, and if not them, then some of the rewards might be NFTs. Now, Sony was real quick to step on this rumor, because they know that the term NFT, when applied to gaming, for better or worse, is like swearing at somebody's mother. It is so unpleasant in the gaming community. It has changed the course of games when a studio has used the word NFT attached to their games. So Sony stepped on the rumors real quick. They said, no. These are, quote, definitely not NFTs. So they are not unique. They are not blockchain based. Both things NFTs are required to have. So they're not unique. What they are essentially are badges, like we've seen on everything from Foursquare, and we've seen badges across all kinds of mobile apps and gaming, except that the badges look like gaming characters instead of looking like a badge. That seems to be all these things are. They just made the stupid mistake of using the word digital collectibles, and ooh, did the backlash start quick. Obviously, we've talked in the past about, the weirdnesses around the reactions to NFTs. There's some places where NFTs in gaming would make sense. It would essentially create a safe contract for transferring resources between people, things that already happen but don't happen safely. Somebody has to take a huge risk that they trust the other person. But either way, the idea of digital collectibles themselves is always the thing that sets gamers off when it comes to NFTs, and that's exactly what happened here. It was an interesting thing to watch. I don't know if you were following on Twitter. While I was driving around the country, I was watching the response to it.
I mean, no, I wasn't really following this, but I agree. I just want to say I agree with Bill Gates, who said that NFTs are based on the bigger fool theory, which, by the way, I'd never heard of before, but it seems self-explanatory. Yeah.
Particularly these NFT digital collectibles, right? These things that only exist to exist, right? I think that's the thing that we all so naturally associate with NFTs, because we've seen the smoking ape and whatever other stupid things there are. I don't know if that's what it's called, and I don't care. But we've all seen these digital collectible NFTs. There are places where we're using the blockchain technology to guarantee transfer of ownership of things that already exist in a game. Skins, resources, items, weapons, shields, clothing. There are places where that would make sense, because right now, if you and I, Avram, if we're playing World of Warcraft and we agree that I'm going to sell you gold, whether or not you're allowed to do it, Activision, don't get on me, that's not what we're talking about. I know it's against the terms of service, but let's say that you and I make that agreement. Offline. Not offline, but off WoW. The way it works is either you have to give me the money and hope I show up to give you the gold, or in the game, I hand you the gold and I hope you send me the money. One of us has taken a huge risk. If it was an NFT, we could purchase, we could transfer that ownership through a contract. Great. That's fine. It's not a digital collectible. It's not using resources. It's not all the stupid stuff that these apes and whatever this thing that Chris Griffin is going to do on TV. I don't know.
Isn't this why drug dealers bring lots of people with machine guns with them to the drug deal?
Yes. It's why people have to. A year ago, if you were selling like a PlayStation online, you'd meet at a police station for safety reasons, because people were robbing people of the PlayStations wherever they went.
Yeah, I don't know. I just keep thinking maybe it's because I'm talking to Florida, but I just keep thinking about Miami Vice, where they would all they would all show up with all the like the guards around them to
Sure.
make the exchange. Right? Yeah, it's definitely an issue, right? Is and online, like there's no, what are you going to do, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
if you're giving digital goods, it's not like having some type of a physical protection is going to help you there.
Right. Right.
So
Well, best
and
case
that's why you've got to
scenario.
be careful where you buy anything online.
True. True. Whether it be, inside of a game or, you know, you buying a hard drive from xptnla3.com. I don't know. Those are just random letters. It probably doesn't exist. I hope not. You know, you don't know. You could just be throwing your credit card number out into a digital skimmer.
Yeah, exactly. Got to be careful.
Yeah. So, it's I in general the stars are meh. New feature coming. Again, exactly the same as Microsoft Rewards or the Nintendo points, except Microsoft Rewards can be on your phone and computer and stuff. But, it's generally meh. Okay, it's a loyalty program. Great. I can buy stuff in the store with the rewards points. Okay. So, for everybody who panicked about it, meh. It's no different
Yeah,
than going to Chipotle and scanning the QR code before you buy your burrito. It's not it's nothing particularly interesting, and certainly not the the pretty NFT wrapping that people were worried that it was. Now, is Sony working on NFT stuff? Who knows? But apparently this is not it. So, I guess hooray! This week's news from the tubes and F5 Live is proudly powered by Malwarebytes. Speaking of protecting yourself online, whether you're using a PC, a Mac, or a mobile device, Malwarebytes Premium is their strongest protection ever. It protects you while you're online from things like worms and rogues, dialers, trojans, and all kinds of other malware. It allows you to use your computer and mobile devices with confidence and peace of mind. To learn more and get a special price, you can go to f5live.tv/malwarebytes. That worked out better than I was hoping. Another way that you're going to need to protect yourself online is from blockchain technology. Sometimes it can help protect your purchases, but sometimes it can be the thing you need protection from. In this case, a company called Celsius. Let's talk about Celsius a little bit. It was, I don't know how to conjugate this verb right now because we're in a bit of limbo. The company, let's say was, because that's probably the reality of it. A place where you could deposit money, just like a bank, digital money, Bitcoin, for example. And then, like a bank, they would lend that money to others with interest, and then some of that interest comes back to you and some of it goes to the bank, in this case Celsius. However, there's a big Ponzi scheme overarch to what's happening or was happening over at Celsius, as alleged in a lawsuit from a former employee who has detailed their beliefs as to why Celsius always was and still is a Ponzi scheme. It's very detailed, but I'll tell you, a Ponzi scheme is basically person A invests money into a thing. Person B invests money into a thing. Person A is given interest from person B, Person C invests, and person B is paid back with interest from person C, and it goes on. Eventually, you run out of money, and the Ponzi scheme falls apart. Bernie Madoff was a great example of a very big Ponzi scheme that included, I believe, the likes of Ben Affleck and big name people. In this case, it's lots of small people. In fact, 1.7 million people have money in Celsius right now. Now, why does that matter? Oh, right, because they filed bankruptcy and have locked all of the accounts from withdrawals. So, if you were one of the 1.7 million people to put any of your digital assets into Celsius, you currently cannot get a hold of it. Now, how much money could those 1.7 million people have possibly put in to the account? Well, some $4 billion worth is what we understand. And how much do they have in liquid assets right now? Yeah, $167 million. So that's not great. So even if you could withdraw your money, you couldn't withdraw your money because they don't got it. They invested it in all kinds of other things, and all of it, when the market, somebody pulled the pin out of that bucket, the sand just rushed out. If you've been paying attention to the price of Bitcoin, just since November, it's dropped from 67,000 to 20,000. Ethereum dropped from 4,800 to 1,200. It's been as low as just over 1,000. Like, the market dropped. Celsius got killed. They invested in other things that killed them. They filed bankruptcy, and there is, give or take, about $4 billion unaccounted for. Uh-oh. Not great.
Well, not so is anyone going to be held accountable?
So it's a fascinating question. I believe it's one of the reasons why they've filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Chapter 11 is for restructuring both of the company and of debts. I think they're trying to get out of the legal requirement of paying their users back, which is scary. Why? Right, because they've already paid the big people back. So all these companies that they had other investments in, where they owed a ton of money, like other lenders, because they've been borrowing. It's unbelievable. They've been borrowing from other lenders. Here's your Ponzi scheme. They've been borrowing from other lenders to be able to make good on the interest on some of the accounts when they were being withdrawn. So they froze the accounts a month ago. Nobody's been able to withdraw for over a month. Oh, but they didn't stop people from depositing for a little while. So you were throwing money into a black hole. So that's Ponzi scheme-ish. But they're borrowing money from this company to be able to pay back and issue loans to other people. And the companies that they borrowed from, they've already paid back just before they filed bankruptcy. Like hours before they filed bankruptcy. So, I mean, this is a mess. If people don't go to prison here, I'll be shocked.
Yeah, they'll go to prison, but somehow they'll also walk away with money.
Keep the 3.85 billion that's currently MIA. Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere. I am sorry for everyone who's lost money on crypto. I've thought that crypto was a fad since pretty much the beginning.
Yeah.
It's money based on nothing. I mean,
So's
the
ours.
idea of doing. Yeah, I guess it's based on a gold. I mean,
Not ours.
it's
Ours
there's a
isn't based on a gold standard. Ours is based on
oh, that's right. It's
trust.
off of the trust in the government, I
Yeah.
guess. Trust in the Fed. All
Yeah.
right. Yes. Okay. But all right. Well, I'll tell you what's based on nothing. The government here. So in any country, whether it's U.S. or Europe or anywhere, the government prints money. Government creates money supply. With I'm sure I don't know what I'm talking about, but with cryptocurrency, you have people mining the crypto, right? So they are expending all of this electricity, which is a huge carbon footprint, to earn money for having their computer basically sit there and process transaction, do math. So that's, I think there was some estimate that not long ago that the amount of carbon emission from crypto mining was equivalent to something like, I don't know, the whole Netherlands or something. It was like a significant amount, a huge carbon footprint and electric drain to the point, and that is the alleged reason why China banned it. I mean, they may have had other reasons, but that's why China supposedly banned it, was that it was a really bad use of electricity. Very, so should we be glad that, first of all, we don't have that as, say, a drain on the environment, a drain on the oil market when people are trying to get gas, a drain, and a drain on the graphics card and PC markets. Now, we also are seeing a decline in, decline in sales of PCs and sales of chips, but in a way, that's a good thing because, not for the companies, not for NVIDIA or something, but it's a good thing for the rest of us because it's, we're finally able to get graphics cards because they're not all being snapped up by crypto miners. So it's, and the companies did this to themselves in a way because some companies kind of, they did make an effort to put like mining limiters on cards, but even so, this was really the PC industry shooting itself in the kneecap because people who wanted to buy a graphics card 2 years ago or a year ago couldn't, and because there were all of these miners buying the cards, whereas they should have done more to keep the cards out of the hands of miners and to keep the price gougers away.
That's for sure.
The PC industry might never recover from, or at least the build your own PC industry might never recover from what happened the last couple of years with graphics card demand. So I'm glad crypto crashed. It's good for the environment, good for PC market, good for gamers, good for almost everybody.
Yeah. Except the miners. But meh. Yeah. Yeah.
Like any other investment, I guess you should have gotten out while you could.
Yeah, for sure. I've been saying basically since the beginning of it, I remember being at CES and there was a Bitcoin thing there, and one of our former hosts, John, got all excited about it, and went over and talked to him for a while, and when he was done, he came back and he explained it to me, and I said, well, that's not going to last. And he called, our business partner from the other company. He's like, well, I got to tell you about this. And Mark was all excited, and I said, no, this isn't going to last. This is a fad. It's the value comes from the trust in the value, which is different than, say, our currency, which is faith in that the government will back up the printed value. It's very different, right? This is the value comes from trusting that the value is there. Well, that's cyclical nonsense.
Right. Yeah.
And that will spiral up and then spiral back down. That's the only way that kind of thing happened. And they're never small spirals. right? We saw it go from like 40 to 80 in a matter of, what was it, 8 or 9 weeks? Like, Bitcoin went up, but then once that thing went up, it came back down. So, and
I feel bad for the people who invested in crypto for their retirement or something like that. Like that was pretty short-sighted.
Yeah. Well, I feel bad for people who invested in this this Celsius thing, because this does not look like it's going to end well. It looks like it's going to come crashing down real hard, and we will definitely be keeping an eye on it, because 1.7 million users is not a small number. We will definitely be keeping an eye on this bankruptcy filing and proceedings as they happen. This week's DRM Not Included on F5 Live is proudly powered by Amazon Prime. Prime Day may be behind us, but there's still a lot available for you. You know you get free shipping, but that's not all. You get free music with Amazon Prime Music, free TV, movies, and documentaries with Amazon Prime Video, free games, and a free Twitch subscription to support the content creator of your choice with Amazon Prime Gaming, and a whole lot more. We've got quick links to these features and some of our other favorites, plus a 30-day free trial if you're not already a subscriber, all by going to f5live.tv/prime. So we talked about Microsoft and Windows earlier. Now we're going to talk about Microsoft and Netflix. Let's start with the reality, and then we'll get to the fantasy. The reality is that a couple of weeks ago we talked about that Netflix was looking for advertising partners for its new ad-supported streaming tier. At the time, Google and Comcast looked like they were going to be the big players in that space, but in the end, Microsoft won out. Microsoft tweeting that they had won the contract. They would be the global advertising partner for Netflix. And I'll tell you, it makes sense to me, and here's why. Google has a video streaming service. Comcast has at least one, if you don't count Xfinity, video streaming service in Peacock. So they have competition with Netflix. Microsoft, however, does not. And Microsoft has a solid advertising business that's been running on Bing and other platforms for years. I think they're still the advertising partner for Yahoo. So they've done advertising for us at different times in the past. So they're a solid platform, good return, and they don't have any, horse in the race against Netflix. So that makes sense. But don't care about any of that. I want to talk about conspiracy theories because those are way more fun. So, Microsoft's been on a buying spree as of late. Activision is the project they're currently involved in, but we know, they've purchased all kinds of high-profile things, including LinkedIn, over the last couple of years, right? So the current weird, goofy conspiracy theory that has a little bit of merit is that this is step one in Microsoft's acquisition of Netflix. This is their way of maybe doing reconnaissance into some statistics on Netflix users. How many people are actually using it? What are they watching? Things like that. Okay. A decent idea. I don't know, personally, if Microsoft would be that interested in a streaming service. They tried. They had a great service, but failed with music. They tried, had a great service, but failed with video streaming. Beam/Mixer were really popular. We used to be on that platform when it existed. Zune Music, Xbox Music, Groove Music. It had 3 names over its lifetime. was a really solid platform. Had music that a lot of the other ones didn't have at all. But commercially, it was never successful. I don't know that they want to try a three-peat. I
But
don't know.
here's the thing: they're buying something that's already. If they bought it, they would buy something that's already successful.
True.
Um, at a time when it's actually at a low point, but there's plenty of room for Netflix to go. I mean, Netflix hasn't lost that many subscribers.
Yeah.
Netflix hasn't, isn't, it's just been getting a lot of negative press
Right.
over the subscribers that it did lose, and
Yeah.
that it's not growing, and that there's fatigue or whatever.
It was a big deal that it was the first time in a decade that they had subscriber loss. That's where it came from. In the next quarter, when they again have subscriber loss, it's not going to be that big of a story because it'll have already happened. Which, that's really all it was. They've gotten a lot of press about it because it was unusual, but everybody has subscriber loss at some point. You peak. There's peaks and valleys. So it took them 10 years to get to their first peak. All right, that's fine. But it's a crowded space. There's a lot of stuff. When it comes to video, Microsoft's got franchises. Maybe it does make sense.
Well, I mean, if they want to be in media, right?
That's the question.
I mean, Microsoft has been in and out of it. I mean, a long time ago. I mean, there's MSNBC, which I don't think they have any association with anymore, right?
Nope. The MSN in that name no longer stands for Microsoft Network.
Right. So right, they've tried their hand at doing some media type of things in the past, but not as much as but nothing that was successful. But here you've got a business that is successful.
Right.
So now I'm sure it'd be an expensive thing to buy.
But so was Activision.
But if they were able to do it, then it would probably be, if they want to be in that business.
Right.
Right. If they want to be in that business, then they could do a lot with it. Now, they still are facing the same headwinds as before. What I don't understand is how Netflix benefits from having Microsoft do the ads for them. I mean, I guess it's cheaper than having their own infrastructure.
Yeah.
But then they're probably having to give Microsoft a nice big cut of it.
Yeah. But, at a time when we first talked about this, we talked about that, at a time when they're already cutting staff, because of change of direction, all of the things that came up a couple of months ago, that now would not be the time for them to create a whole new division in order to create a subscriber tier that was going to cost less. So I get them looking for a partner, and I get them choosing a partner that's not already in the space. From the collection of names that were thrown out there, Microsoft is the one that makes the most sense, because the only other one that I didn't mention was Roku, which is the worst of the ideas of people that already have video-based ad sales. Roku would have been the worst. There's also talk that Roku is interested in Netflix. Please don't let that happen.
Wait, how can is Roku a bigger company than Netflix that they could afford to buy them?
I don't know how they'd do it, but there's talk.
I mean, I can see the two of them working. I could see more Netflix buying Roku than Roku buying Netflix, but is Netflix a much bigger company than Roku? But
you'd think so. But maybe Roku, like Apple or like a dragon, is hoarding cash.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they have something, but
I mean, they bought Quibi, but I imagine they did that with the money they found in their couch cushions.
Right. Yeah, that's not worth anything. So, Yeah, I mean, I could see this as an okay move for Microsoft. I'm not sure if it would turn out to be a great move for consumers, as Microsoft has not been good with media.
Right.
Um, but then they'd be bringing in that expertise. So
True.
with this, so I mean, I
But
guess you could go
they brought
either
in that
way here.
they brought that expertise in when they bought Beam, and then they seemed to kick it off a cliff like 300.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's probably. I mean, I don't know. I'm really bored with Netflix right now,
Yeah, agreed, 100%.
but it's I've been watching a lot of other stuff before I watch Netflix, but
Me too.
there's really nothing on there that I want. Well, I have to finish watching Stranger Things. Oh, I did watch Umbrella Academy. I did do that. I watched Umbrella Academy season 3.
I got 2 episodes left.
Yeah, it was okay. I think that's my 2 cents. It was okay.
One
Third
was
season.
great. 1 was great. 2 was good. 3 so far has been okay.
Yeah,
It's definitely degraded in quality quickly.
yeah. It's not. I don't know. Maybe the premise is wearing out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's wearing thin on me anyway.
Yeah.
But the
Family of Weirdos Saves the World. Great. What's season 2? Family of Weirdos Saves the World. Oh. What's season 3? A larger Family of Weirdos Saves the World. Okay.
I don't know. I just the
We're
characters.
getting a little MCU-y here. It's
Yeah,
formulaic.
I mean, I don't know. It's not even the formulaic. It's just I don't know, something about it. I mean, one of the things that I did really love about the first couple of seasons, though, or at least the first season, was just some of the like quirkiness of like the bad guys that they had with the the donut shop and like all that stuff, and like that that's all gone, and now
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not feeling it, but
Agreed.
but yeah, they need. I don't know. Something needs to happen to shake things up at Netflix.
Yeah, for sure. So, I guess to wrap up, the conspiracy theory is that this is phase 1 in Microsoft's inevitable takeover of Netflix. I don't know if that's what's going on. Maybe it's more of a beginning of a relationship. We know that they've got content out there. Microsoft's got their Halo series on Paramount Plus. Maybe they're trying to court. Maybe they're not happy with that relationship. Maybe they're trying to court a new partner for future stuff. Because, especially now that they got Activision coming in house and they've got Bethesda. They've got Gears and WoW and all of these franchises that'll be under their umbrella. Maybe they're just looking for a home and somebody who can produce content under it. Maybe they're not happy with a relationship with Paramount Plus for Halo, and they're looking for something new. Who knows? Lots of possibilities. Yep. Or it could simply be an advertising deal. Who knows? But whatever it is, it won't be a short timeline, because there's no way, if their goal is to make a purchase, there's no way they do it while the Activision deal is active, and it won't happen. It wouldn't happen right after either. They got to let the market cool down before they make another, what's that work out to, 11-figure deal. They'd have to let the market cool again if they want regulators to take them seriously. So whatever is going on is a long game. It's not a short game. So we'll probably circle back to this at some point in the future, but that future will not be September, at least not of this year. Well, that is our show. Thank you to those of you who joined us live. We always appreciate it. If you didn't and would like to in the future, f5live.tv/join us Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. You can chat with us, give us your feedback on the topics, answer our questions. We're asking questions during the show. You can tell us what the meaning of the little mask icon is that Avram has on his desk from The Witcher. and a myriad of other things. If you can't join us live, that's okay. PLUGHITZLive.com/subscribe. There you'll see all of our shows, including F5 Live, Piltch Point, PLUGHITZ Live Presents, and a whole lot more. And all the ways that you can watch, listen, and follow along. We do not know what next week is going to look like, because I believe next weekend we will be officially opening strike. We had to delay it from this weekend, so I think we're going to be officially opening strike. Avram's going to be on vacation, so the likelihood is that we will not be here next week, and then we will see you the weekend after. But we will keep you posted. Keep checking out on our social media for updates on what that will look like. And with that, on behalf of the staff that's not here, I'm Scott.
I'm Avram.
And we'll see you back next time. Ciao.